Hi, I'm Rob Steinke from the Harness Makers Workshop. Come in here and see what's on the bench. What I'm doing is a very nice little, well, there's two of them actually, one trimmed red and another bridle trimmed in the blue. They can be used for riding, for farm work, for trade classes. So first of all, you need a good pattern. Now there's the pattern I've got. Now you put that on, cut the leather, mark it round, cut out the middle piece, and then put the colour of your choice in the middle with a bit of swelling so it catches the light. You can just see it there catching the light. Once that's on, I hand stitch it using good quality linen thread, and to preserve it I coat it in beeswax. I'll show you the hand stitching in a minute. So once that's all stitched round, it's time to put the buckles on. So there is a buckle which I will continue stitching in a minute to show you. Then when the buckles are on, that is how the cheek piece is finished. It has a buckle and a point at the end to go onto the bit, and you'll later see the headpiece I'm making and the attractive brow band, and that buckles onto the headpiece. When it comes to the brow band, you'll see me using all these clincher pieces. Take the buckles out there, those ones, and with that I'll make a nice bridle, brow band for the bridle, one in red and the other in blue. So do come back and see me, and now I'm going to show you on the stitching. I'm now going to take these cheek pieces of the farm bridle. Next step on, you can see they're nailed onto this board here, and to explain the reason why, you have the original pattern here. Out pop the middle piece, then all ready for a bit of colour. So we'll pop the patterns to one side now, and there is the cheek piece ready to have the middle part put on. It's been soaked in water. There's the middle piece that came out. So we pop that onto there and put it on this board. It'll be left to dry here for just a day or two. I'll pop a tack in there to hold it, and the other side, there we are. I think you can see that okay. When leather is wet, it stretches, whether it's for doing these cheek pieces or just check how far that is. Yeah, just push them up a bit, or for the seat of a saddle. It all gives you a lot more to play with if the leather is wet, and then it can mould into shape. I use this board normally for doing crupper docks. So you wet them, mould them into shape, and then I nail them on this board. And you're starting to see now how you'll get the shape. I'll finish tacking that into place in a minute. And you've got a pair of red and a pair of blue here. So once it's all dry and I'm stitching them onto the backing piece of leather, I'll come back and I'll show you how I get on with that. Right, back again now. Taking these off the board, they've dried out. So I'm going to stitch them. So these are the stitching clamps, like a vice. So put them in the clamps. I'm using 2 needles here. There we are, 2 needles. And the stitching awl. There. The beauty is, with hand stitching, that each needle is swapped over. Like that's that one coming out, and this one will be going in. So unlike machine stitching, where you have one thread that goes all over the top and one at the bottom, and then one stitch breaks and it all goes all the way along and undoes. That doesn't happen with hand stitching. And with 2 needles, the top of the stitching along there is the same size as underneath. You can stitch with 1 needle, but then you get a stitch larger on the back. That's handy when you're stitching material, because you want a longer stitch at the back to grab hold of the material while you're stitching the leather on the top. So there I am, using the awl to make the hole. I've marked the holes out already, and you can see I'm going along here. See, there's the needle coming out there. Take it in slow motion, and then I'm using the handle of the awl. You can see all the little holes in it. I use that to push the needle back. Then I start undoing the tabs, pulling them out. They're just holding everything in place, and carry on stitching. So once this is all stitched, I will cut out all this round, cut this waist leather, the brown there, away. You'll have the nice shape of it, and then I shall start. Yeah, there's a selection of buckles. I shall be putting those buckles on the end, and we'll come back to these when I'm ready to stitch those on.